As a big fan of Spider-Man since I was about 5 years old, and growing up with the incredible Raimi films, which I still binge watch every now and then, I have to say, I am gutted with how the release of Spider-Man 2 PS5 has gone. My dumbass stayed up last night watching the PlayStation State of Play, hoping for some sort of Spider-Man announcement, but instead got about 89 remasters shoved down my anaconda neck. Almost 1 year after release, we still have no word on where the DLC is, along with just one major update since release, with added features that arguably should have been there at launch. There is literally no reason to play this game again after finishing it, unless you are a bum like me who have completed it more than once. And I feel like this isn't talked about enough, and ultimately, Spider-Man 2 feels dead and pretty much forgotten about. What in the hell has happened? This video will dive into the mistakes and potential reasons for the disastrous post-launch of Spider-Man 2, and maybe if this video gets liked and shared enough, Insomniac might see it and actually give us some information on what's going on and when we might actually see some DLC. Or maybe that's like asking for ghost shits in public toilets for the next 10 years. Let's firstly discuss why the game is dead and what went so horribly wrong. So, the way games release now is completely different to back in the day. Attention spans are as low as an old bint's tits, so we all know that game developers must give players a reason to return to a game by providing either a structured DLC plan or regular updates that give it new life. This applies to both story-focused and multiplayer games. Examples of this can be found in so many different releases that I'm sure you already know about. With Spider-Man 1, things were different. Before it released, Insomniac announced the DLC plan, and just 1 month after release, the first DLC named The Heist was launched, which also gave people a reason to pre-order the collector's/ultimate edition, as you would get the DLC included, and it added whole new life to the game once you finished it. Along with the DLC, we also got regular suit updates, which were free, where we all bitched for the Raimi suit every minute of the day, but it was worth the wait, that's for sure. This was just another reason to pick up the game again, instead of it just collecting dust on the shelf. But judging by the huge disappointment from fans, the same couldn't be said about Spider-Man 2. Upon the release of Spider-Man 2, you'll notice there was no DLC plan or structure announced, which was a sign of things to come. I personally wasn't too concerned, as I just wanted to play the damn thing and couldn't wait. To be completely honest with you, my boxers looked like Peter's mask due to all the constant rod-ons. And to be fair, things looked bright at first. The base game, in my opinion, was very good, despite missing certain aspects, such as being able to change the time of day, which were present in previous Spider-Man games at launch. Aside from the little nitpicks, because I'm a god to crud nerd, I loved it, despite it feeling so damn short. But as the months rolled by without a single update, this is where I became concerned. It would take a staggering 5 months for our first major update, which finally added change time of day, new suits, different symbiote colours, etc. And I have to say, for the general player who aren't massively into Spider-Man, I don't think this update would entice them to return. Even people like me, who are sad enough to quote Billy Maguire one-liners in real life, found it difficult to be excited for this update, and it felt like it was too little too late. But that immense disappointment was only the beginning. This is where the real kick to the bollocks comes in. Another 3 months have passed, and we still haven't had any news regarding DLC, along with absolutely no major updates. In fact, the only updates since have just been bug fixes, unlike the first game that introduced new suits on a regular basis. And yes, some of these suits were uglier than the state of your mum's teeth, but it still kept us playing. This has ultimately led to Spider-Man 2 dying a death, and there is literally no reason to return to it. And it is a real shame, especially when it's such a damn good game. Aside from its lack of replay value, which you could argue may have been improved if there were more unique and varied random crimes to keep things fresh. I swear, if I see another symbiote crime again, I'm gonna twat this thing up the nearest arse. But then again, you'd need a hell of a lot of random crimes to fill a 12-month gap. But why has this happened, you might ask? What led to Spider-Man 2 being entirely abandoned? Well, this is where things get interesting. In December 2023, the absolute worst thing that could ever happen to a game developer occurred.
Hackers who breached Insomniac Games and promised to release confidential information if its demands weren't met have done just that. Loads of data on upcoming games and Sony's internal plans have been leaked in one of the industry's most damaging breaches in years.
Future game releases and even a playable build of Insomniac's Wolverine was leaked, with hundreds of images and gameplay clips leaking online for everyone to see. As I'm sure some of you might be aware, this data breach was truly horrifying, and I really hope the knobheads who did this get punished, as they've surely cost Insomniac millions of dollars. It was truly an awful situation, and I really hope it doesn't impact future releases. But here is the catch. These leaks didn't happen until December 2023, which was 2 months after the release of Spider-Man 2. So to use the leaks as a reason for the lack of DLC content is a bit muddy, as you'd expect the DLC to be almost finished by the time the game releases, right? Also, not only that, unlike the first game, there was no DLC announcement when Spider-Man 2 launched. 2 months rolled by and then the leaks happened. And I do feel like a lot of people get that mixed up and think the leaks happened closer to release, which wasn't actually the case. Now, of course, these leaks must be causing some sort of delay, but judging from the timeline, it can't be the only reason. There must be something else going on behind the scenes. Maybe they're just working on a whole new MJ game. If so, I hope the Suicide Hotline hold music isn't this. To be brutally honest, in my opinion, the fact we haven't had any DLC or real reason to return to Spider-Man 2 isn't the end of the world. My main complaint and disappointment is the fact that fans have been left in the dark with no idea what's going on and when we can expect something. I really wish Insomniac would be a bit more open with the fans and communicate better, as I feel this could have been dealt with much differently. But it's also important to know, without kissing arse, there must be something serious going on behind the scenes, which is likely not Insomniac's fault. However, if you had told me before Spider-Man 2 came out, it wouldn't have any DLC or barely any updates 1 year after launch, with no reason as to why, I don't think I'd believe you, and I'd chuck a load of dirt in your eye. As a fan of these games, it is just majorly disappointing, and I don't really think it gets talked about enough. It feels like a lot of people have just forgotten about Spider-Man 2, so I really wanted to make this video with the hopes that maybe we get some answers and maybe get a date for DLC in the near future. But to be fair, I haven't really got a lot of hope in that. Regardless, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And when was the last time you played Spider-Man 2? And would you still be interested in getting DLC for it? I just really hope the hype hasn't died with this game, because it would be a massive shame. But anyways, if you would like to find out the top 10 best open world games you have to play before you die, you don't want to miss this, make sure to click the card on screen to check out that video. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.